Welcome back, Book Dragons, to the Emerald Dragon Lady. Today's episode is a book challenge wrap-up. This is Wish You Were Here 2025, presented to you by Bridge for Books, Challenge Coven, and Cats Book Nerds. The theme is The Lost Library. The story of the realm of whispering words and the lost library. For generations, tales of doorways to other worlds have drawn explorers, treasure seekers, and time travelers to our corner of the world. Four Bridges is home to an untold number of portals, some dangerous and unrelenting, bringing nothing but grief and heartache to our community. Some are wondrous, offering adventures beyond your wildest dreams. None more so than the realm of whispering words, known throughout Four Bridges as the Lost Library. The Lost Library was first discovered in the early 1880s when Winston Davenport, our community's first librarian, stumbled upon the portal while unboxing donations in the library's basement. Winston kept his discovery a secret. However, we know from his journals that he spent all his waking hours researching, reading, and exploring the realm. He concluded that the realm of whispering words was a collection of book worlds and characters, several from the pages of many beloved books. Winston particularly loved spending time with the characters from Pride and Prejudice, Alice in Wonderland, Anne of Green Gables, and his absolute favorite was Sherlock Holmes. He even claimed that he helped him solve a few murders. Winston's most significant discovery was the direct link between Four Bridges and the realm. He realized the realm's worlds and characters were connected to the physical books on the shelves of the Four Bridges Library. After concluding his research, Winston spent his remaining years collecting donations and spending all his additional funds on books. On his deathbed, Winston told his niece, Sylvia, of his discovery and asked her to continue his legacy. He swore her to secrecy to ensure the protection of both her and the realm. His final wish was to be laid to rest in the Lost Library. His niece obliged and helped him through the portal for his final time. After years of traveling between the worlds, the people of the Whispering Words admired and loved Winston dearly. They honored him and his contributions to their world by making him immortal and naming him the first mayor of the realm, a position he still holds. Sylvia and her daughter continued to build the realm, even establishing a communication link between the realms through journals. However, in the late 1960s, Sylvia's grandson, James, discovered the secret. James did not share their love for the library, and instead of protecting it, he felt it could be leveraged to make millions. Overcome with visions of wealth and power, he had his mother sent away. James began offering tours of the Whispering Words for exorbitant prices. The Lost Library protested, but James knew all he had to do was threaten to burn all the books in the library, effectively destroying Whispering Words. After nearly 10 years, Whispering Words was suffering. Tourists flooded the realm, and some refused to return. They did not have the resources to handle the influx of people, and over time, the Lost Library degraded. Crime was rampant. Trash was strewn about. Characters began to get sick. Winston knew he had to close the portal. With the threat of never being able to return to their own world looming, many tourists left. Upon discovery of the portal's closure, James began to make good on his promise. With calculated malice, he began destroying the books one by one. A slow approach, he reasoned, would both preserve his source of wealth and force Winston to reconsider as he watched the slow, unrelenting destruction of the realm he loves. Week by week, more books were destroyed, but Winston would not bend. As his coffers steadily emptied, James grew increasingly desperate. One night, after drinking away the last of his wealth, he burned several books at one time. James stared into the fire, feeling his hope melt away as the heat stoked the flames of his anger. He felt out of control. He paced the library, pulling at his hair, his clothes. Desperation was clawing at him until he could feel the walls of the library closing in on him. Panic building, he screamed until his voice gave out. In a blind panic, James ran through the library, pulling books off the shelves, stacking them for new fire, for an inferno. He ignored his screaming lungs, shaking legs, and trembling hands. He didn't notice the warning signs until it was too late. He collapsed. His body could no longer take the stress. James suffered a massive heart attack and died. The library remained closed for several years until Kristen and Nicole asked the city for the keys and funding to reopen. The city gave them the keys, but the funding was up to them. Several bake sales, game night raffles, car washes later, the library reopened to great fanfare. Kristen and Nicole reopened communication with Winston via the journals. At first, Winston was skeptical of Kristen and Nicole, but over time, he began to trust the pair, knowing that their love for the written word and the worlds within the pages of books was pure. In despair over Winston's description of the state of the whispering words, the pair asked how they could help restore the world to its former glory. His answer, books. As many books as could fit on shelves. So, with a renewed sense of purpose, the three of them hatched a plan. Winston is opening the portal for a one-time event. Kristen and Nicole can travel through the Lost Library on one condition. You follow along on their adventure and donate, or read, a book for every land within the realm they visit. Each book donated, or read, will help restore the Lost Library to its former glory and earn you the gratitude of its first and beloved librarian. The adventure began on April 1st, 2025. Book Dragons, this adventure was so much fun to do, and I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to participate. Unfortunately, for 2026, I will not be able to participate as my life seems to have gotten very, very busy, and I need to make sure that I focus on real life first. But as you continue through the video, feel free to pause whenever you like to be able to read about the books that I read and the prompts I read them for, and just enjoy the adventure. And if you want to be able to join in on the 2026 adventure, please visit Bridge for Books, Coven Challenges, or Cats Books Nerds. I will have their Instagram links in the caption, and feel free to check them out and ask to join. As always, Book Dragons, find new books, go on new adventures, and stay safe.